After cleaning your Benelli, you'll need to reassemble your shotgun. The cleaning process most likely removed the lubricant necessary for maintaining a properly functioning action, so you'll need to reapply lubricant during the reassembly process. To begin, take the trigger assembly and place a drop of oil on either side of the hammer hinge, the plunger, either side of the carrier hinge, the trigger hinge, the carrier spring, and its plunger. Lock the hammer back and then insert the trigger assembly into the bottom side of the receiver, inserting the carrier first. You may have to hold down the bolt release button to properly mount the trigger assembly. Once the trigger assembly is in place, secure it with the trigger guard pin. You may have to lightly tap it into place with the back of your 1/8 inch punch. Apply 3 drops of oil into the recoil spring tube. Insert the recoil spring buffer with the concave end facing toward the receiver, and then insert the recoil spring. Carefully compress the recoil spring and begin screwing the stock retaining screw into the recoil tube. Be very cautious, as the spring pressure can cause you to lose control of the stock retaining screw. Use a 17 mm wrench to fully tighten the stock retaining screw. Return the drop shim to the stock, and then return the stock to the rear of the receiver. Insert the stock locking plate into the stock and onto the stock retaining screw, followed by the washer. Begin screwing the stock retaining nut onto the stock retaining screw, and then tighten it firmly with a 13 mm socket wrench. The recoil pad can now be returned to the rear of the stock. Ensure that the stock is firmly in place and that there is no movement between the stock and receiver. Now apply a drop of oil to the inertia spring and use your finger to evenly distribute the oil. Return this into the bolt body. Apply a drop of oil to the locking head and evenly distribute the oil with your finger here as well. Return the locking head pin into place. Make sure the line on top is parallel with the bolt body. This will ensure the firing pin can strike the primer. Spread a drop of oil over the firing pin and then insert it into the firing pin spring. Now insert the firing pin and spring into the rear of the bolt body. Press the firing pin into the bolt assembly and return the firing pin retaining pin into place. Place a drop of oil on both bolt rails and return the bolt assembly to the lower receiver. When inserting the bolt assembly, make sure the bolt link contacts the recoil spring buffer. Now lock the bolt to the rear of the receiver. Return the forend to the barrel and slide the barrel assembly back onto the receiver, making sure that the top of the receiver correctly aligns with the rear of the receiver. Screw the magazine cap onto the magazine, making sure it's snug enough to prevent any movement of the barrel and forend. Return the bolt handle to the bolt body and work the action to ensure that all of the lubricant is distributed evenly. Proper maintenance of your shotgun will extend its life and ensure it functions reliably.